Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. 15th and 16th mantra. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tattvam pushanna pavruno satyadharmaya drishtaye pushanne karshe yamasurya prajapatya vyuharashmin samohatejah yatte rupam kalyanathamam tatte pashyami yosavasau purushassohamasmi. 15th mantra onwards is a depiction of bhakti in Vedanta. Until 14th mantra, it was said this Upasaka has lived a life where he has done his duties, at the same time developed love for Bhagavan. Karma and Upasana both he did together. Also he did Upasana and Upasana together. Quietened his mind using Asambhuti, through Asambhuti Upasana. Then saw this whole creation as Bhagavan's form through Sambhuti Upasana. The one who has trained his mind in that way, what is the prayer of such a sadhaka? How does he look at life? And when it is time to depart, what is his thought? Upanishad is as though demonstrating how is the journey of such a sadhaka by showing us what is their thought process. So one of the prayer that a bhakta has is the 15th mantra. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukham. Says, Bhagavan, I am trying my best from my side. But no matter what I do, I feel that you are hidden from me. What is it that is hiding? This is your upadhi, your conditioning is hiding you from me. And that conditioning is of three types, for three different types of devotees. Those who have seen Vishwarupa like Arjuna, the Mahima of the Lord is so powerful, so bright and brilliant. Suddenly he sees this whole universe in Bhagavan. Good, bad, indifferent, everybody is appearing in that same Bhagavan. So that Mahima, he says, is keeping me away from you. Second sadhaka is who is striving hard, but his problem is not Mahima, his problem is Namarupa. Different sense objects, they take his attention away. Either it creates raga or it creates dvesha. Attachment or aversion, both of these things, he says, is keeping me away from Bhagavan. Although I have heard that Bhagavan is all-pervading, but whenever I see objects, this thought doesn't come that he is all-pervading. The name and form of that object takes my attention away. And third meaning of that Hiranmaya Patra, the lid which is covering the Lord, is our own ahankara. Now, purpose of Vedanta is to negate this ahankara, but through bhakti he is seeking mellowing down of ahankara. That ahankara which is able to see oneness amidst differences, able to see that one truth amidst all differences, that is his prayer to the Lord. Vedanta is saying differences are mithya. There is only consciousness. There is nothing other than consciousness. What is the prayer of this bhakta? He says, Bhagavan, let me see differences. It's okay. But in and through those differences, may I see you also. This knowledge, Bhagavan Krishna calls as Satwik Jnanam. Satwik Jnanam. Puja Guruji translated that Jnanam word as, he said, don't just call it as knowledge. Don't just translate Satwik Jnanam as Satwik knowledge. It is Satwik vision of life. The word Jnanam is translated as Drishti. Means when I look at this world, what is my vision? When I interact with people, what is my vision? Does my attention go on differences, or has Bhagavan blessed with this vision of seeing that common thread which is underlying those differences? Now imagine if this bhakta actually accomplishes this. He's able to see that Bhagavan, he's able to see consciousness in the midst of all conditionings. What will be his transaction like? Transaction will always be keeping in mind this divinity. In the midst of differences, recognizing divinity, that is the prayer he's seeking over here. What is stopping it? He says, my ahankara is stopping it. Names and forms, nama rupa, is stopping me from having this vision. It's a beautiful segue into Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta is trying to tell us there is only consciousness. Other than consciousness, whatever is appearing is mithya. But to shift attention to consciousness, like we saw in Saddarshanam class, first we have to add consciousness to conditioning. Then when we look at it through the lens of knowledge, conditioning is understood to be false, consciousness alone remains. Now that all of us have studied Vedanta Sara, what is this process called as? Adhyaropa and Apavada. We don't add consciousness, but to consciousness we add conditionings. That alone will do a lot of good. Adhyaropa also is a Vedic prakriya. It's a very special Vedic method by which our attention is shifted from conditioning to consciousness. But that is only 50% of our journey. The next part of the journey is to understand that consciousness is reality and conditioning is an appearance. So here the bhakta is seeking the first part, where he says, my attention is only on conditioning. May I also recognize that truth which is underlying these conditionings. Now 16th mantra. Pushan, he is praying to Lord Sun, the one who nourishes everybody. Different adjectives are given of Lord Sun. He says Ekarshe. Ekarshe means one who walks alone. Ekarshe means that. But the symbolic meaning of that was one who is incomparable. One who cannot be compared. That is Bhagwan's nature. All the echoes of these mantras you will find in Ramayana and Bhagavatam. Every single word, elaboration of that you will find in Ramayana and Bhagavatam. When Bhagavan Rama meets Shabari Ji for the first time, just before Navadha Bhakti, Bhagavan tells one chaupai. Bhagavan tells Shabari Ji, Jati Pati Kula Dharma Badai. Jati Pati Kula Dharma Badai. Dhana Bala Parijana Guna Chaturai. He says, if you have to build a bond with me, none of these things are going to work. Jati, Pati means position, lineage, Kula, where you are coming from. Dharma, how much of dharma one has done. Dhana Bala Parijana, wealth, strength, other people whom, social contacts, whatever he has. He says, none of that is going to match what I have. He says, I am Bhagavan, means one who has all Bhaga in full measure. Then what is it that you take? He says, Mano Bhagati Ekahu Natha. I only accept the offering of pure love. Mano Eka Bhagati Karanatha. He says, the way to build bond with me is only through pure love, not through any other things. That is this echo of the word Ekarshe. Ekarshe means, like Bhagwan, there is none. The one who has all six Bhaga, all six different types of wealth. That is Bhagavan. Nobody like him. Pushan Ekarshe Yama. Yama is the one who rules over, one who controls this universe. That is Lord Sun. Surya means one who accepts everything. First thing he accepts is race. Second is different offerings brought through sense organs. And third thing he accepts is rasa. That is Surya. Prajapatya. So Prajapatya, we saw the Pauranic story of Kashyapa and Aditi. Kashyapa and Aditi. But Kashyapa, if you reverse it, becomes Pashyaka. Means it's a metaphorical way, poetic way of saying how this entire creation has come about. That consciousness, Pashyaka, along with conditioning of Antakarana, is projecting this whole universe. Within that, there are Daivi Vrittis and Asuri Vrittis. There are good thoughts and not so good thoughts. But that one truth alone has become many. That's why whenever they take the Gotra name, if somebody doesn't know, they say Kashyapa Gotrodbhavasya. Means finally it is Kashyapa Rishi only. From there only all Jivas have emerged. That is the Mula Srota, origin of all Jivas. So here, even if you take it as Surya Devata is Prajapatya, son of Prajapati. So it's conditioned consciousness. Kashyapa Rishi is the pure consciousness, and Prajapatya will be consciousness with conditioning. Prajapatya, Vyuha Rashmin, please withdraw your rays. Samuha Tejaha, please remove your, or bundle up your rays, make it into one. Vyuha Rashmin, Samuha Tejaha. Now somebody might ask, why is he asking Bhagwan to withdraw the rays? You see, if you just look at the sun directly, one is you cannot see the sun. And second is eyes can get damaged. So he's saying, Bhagwan, your Maya which is there, it is acting in two ways. One, it is hiding you from me. And second is my Viveka Shakti. That is also getting covered. My vasanas are increasing. The power of Viveka, that is also getting affected because of your Maya. One part, of course, I am unable to see you. Not being able to see the sun is one thing. But second is there is some damage coming over here also. That's why dawn and dusk sun is best to see. Looks beautiful also. Midday sun can cause both these things. You cannot see the sun. At the same time, eyes get damaged. This particular prayer, our Sugriva does in Kishkinda Kanda. It's a very interesting portion. And if you read it in the light of this mantra, you will find the same echo. Vyuha Rashmin Samoha Tejaha. This is when Bhagwan sends him to Kishkinda, coronates him as the king, and tells, this is Chaturmasa time, it's raining right now. We'll take a small break. And after 4 months, we'll resume Sitaji's search back. And after 4 months, Bhagwan is wondering. He says what is that portion? Rama's reveries in nature. He looks at the nature, draws parallels, everything is done, but he says Sugriva is not to be seen. And there Goswamiji writes, Bhagwan was also troubled by mosquito bites. Masaka Damsha. One of our Swamiji would say, I am still struggling to understand whether it was punya or papa of that mosquito. It got to take Bhagwan's darshan and also part of his sharira. But at the same time, Bhagwan said it hurt him. So when everything happens, Bhagwan sends Lakshmanji to bring Sugriva. And Sugriva is, now he wakes up. Hanumanji, everybody is there. They tell him this is not the right way to get indulgent. Means this is not right that you are getting indulgent. After he went to Kishkinda, he forgot about Bhagwan. Went to Kishkinda, started getting indulgent, became the king. Then when he comes back, he writes he says few lines to Bhagwan. You see what he says? It's not there in the book. He says, Atisaya Prabala Devatava Maya. He says, Bhagwan, your Maya is very, very powerful. Chutai Rama Karahu Jodaya. Only that person whom you bless, only that person is freed from this Maya. That is Hiranmayana Patrena, Satyasyabhitam Mukham. Your form, your nature is covered for me. By what is it covered? This is Kishkinda's Namarupa. And this Ahankara, which is trying to know you. Not that I'm not a devotee. I'm still trying my best, but these things are so glamorous, they take my mind away. Then he says one line, he says, Lobha pasa jehi garana badhaya. If there is a person who is not affected by lust, not affected by greed, not affected by anger, so nara tuma samana raghuraya. He says that person is not a person, that person is God. That person is just like you. Means these things to go away from a sadhaka's life. The onus doesn't lie only on the sadhaka in bhakti marga. This is the responsibility of removing these lobha, kama, krodha. Part of responsibility is Bhagwan's also. Next chaupai is very popular. He says, Yaha guna sadhana te nahi hoi. Whatever sadhanas I'm doing, one thing I've realized, on my own strength, nothing is working. यह गुण साधन तय नहीं होई, तुम्हारी कृपा पाव कोई कोई. The one who gets your grace, that person crosses over. That is the meaning of the word Vyuha Rashmin Samoha Tejaha. Please withdraw your rays means please withdraw the glamour of Nama Rupa from my mind. Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam. That form of yours which is most worshipful, most beautiful. Tatte Pashyami. That form of yours I am seeing right now. Means right then and there Bhagwan withdrew. Right at that point, as he's doing this prayer, he's saying to Bhagwan, now I'm able to see you. Tatte Pashyami Yaha Yosa Vasau. Yaha Asau Purushaha. That Purusha which appears in that golden orb, that Purusha I am. Yaha Asau Purushaha Saha Aham Asmi. That Purusha I am. Means he is feeling that he as though does not exist. There is only Bhagwan. There is nothing other than Bhagwan. What he has called as Aham, or what he would call as Ahankara, there he has invoked the Lord. He doesn't see himself separate from Bhagwan. Upasana, this is another nice way to look at it. What is Upasana? Placing ourselves in God's presence. Placing ourselves in Bhagwan's presence, that is Upasana. Now that presence can be felt externally, as is creation, or that presence can be felt in that Ahankara itself. In that Aham, he has invoked Bhagwan. He is not there anymore. Now this technically is called as Ahangrahopasana. The altar for invoking Bhagwan is Aham. If the altar was Vigraha, it is called as Vigraha Upasana. If it is Shivalinga, it is Shivalinga Upasana. Shaligrama, it is Saligrama Upasana. But here the altar is Aham only. In that Ahankara, in that Aham, he has invoked Bhagavan. Sometimes we have this idea that Ahankara is a bad thing. Whenever we hear the word Ahankara, see, whatever is part of God's creation cannot be bad. Ahankara is Ishvara Srishti. Ishvara Srishti means it is not something that we create. You keep water outside, sun gets reflected. That reflection is not something that water has created. It just happens. Like that, this Ahankara is reflected consciousness. Part of Ishvara Srishti. Bhakti Darshana tells us how to use this Ahankara in the best possible way. It says make it as an altar where we can invoke Bhagavan. The echo of ripened Ahangrahopasana. Ripened Ahangrahopasana we see in great devotees. Based on this, can you think of some devotee? One who has done Ahangrahopasana, where he has invoked Bhagwan in Aham, doesn't feel any difference between Aham and Bhagwan. Andal. Andal. You know that story, right? Where father gives her mala for Bhagwan. Where does she put it? On herself. That is the ripened state of Ahangrahopasana, where the devotee is not seeing any difference between God and oneself. You see how beautiful Puranic stories are, or life of saints. The understanding of that comes from Upanishads. Yosa Vasau Purusha Soham Asmi. How does it express? It says in somebody like Andal, where this bhavana that I am separate from the Lord is completely removed. Another example is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He was the priest in a temple of Rani Rasmani. And whenever he would show Aarti to Divine Mother, later he would show it to himself also. That was the bhavana he had towards Divine Mother. That is this Ahangrahopasana, where the devotee's individuality has been negated to such an extent that there is nothing but Bhagavan. See, technically we can understand this point, right? If God is all pervading, how can I be different from God? If Bhagavan is all pervading, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, then how can this Aham be different from Brahma? If at all it thinks it's different, it is because of its own ignorance or because of Ahankar. So that this devotee is able to accomplish, he says Bhagavan is not different from me. The alambanam, the support which is there, has to be according to Shastra. For Upasana, whatever support we take, the alambanam we take has to be according to scripture. In that alambanam, we can do Brahma Buddhi. In that support, we can have the emotion of Saguna Brahma. So in Ahankara, one can invoke Saguna Brahma, one can invoke Bhagavan. In a particular Vigraha, one can invoke Bhagavan, because all of these are coming from Shastra, coming from scriptures. The reason it's important is only then it will give the right result. Right? Upasana is going to give a specific result. Whatever we saw in 9th through 14th mantra. It will give result provided it is done with the right alambanam, right support. And best example for Upasana is national flag. The concept of Upasana, if you want to understand, one of the most precise example is national flag. We see a piece of cloth with some decoration. If you technically look at it, it is some kind of, piece of cloth only with different design. But when you look at it, it is not only cloth, neither it is the design. What we are invoking there is nation. And through that, different mindset can be invoked. When you see the flag going up, naturally the emotion of patriotism comes in the heart. Same way, different rituals. A particular thing is done. Because of that, certain mindset is invoked in the sadhaka. You are seeing one thing, but doing bhavana, feeling emotion of something else. So here also we are seeing aham. In that aham, one is invoking Bhagavan. Okay. Now, Bhashya is very straightforward. 16th mantra Bhashya. Pushan niti jagatah poshanat pusha ravihi tatha ekah eva rushati gacchati iti ekarshihi he ekarshe tatha sarvasya संयमनात् यमः हे यम तथा रश्मीनां प्राणानां रसानां च स्वीकरणात् सूर्यः हे सूर्य प्रजापतेः अपत्यं प्राजापत्यः हे प्राजापत्य व्यूह विगमय रश्मीन स्वान समूह एकीकुरु उपसंहर ते तेजः Tapakam jyotihi. Pushan niti. Hey Pushan, O Lord Sun. Jagataha poshanat pusha. The one who nourishes this entire universe. That is the nourisher, who is known by the name Pushan. It's a very nice bhavana to have towards Bhagwan. Huh? Who is Bhagwan? The one who nourishes all of us. One Mahatma Ji, he would say, food is made up of, or body is made up of food. So to nourish the body, you need total food coming from outside. Samashti is needed for Vyashti. Samashti Annam is needed to nourish Vyashti Annam. The cosmic food is needed to nourish this body because it is made up of food. Now you would ask, what is your mind made up of? What is mind part of? Tattvaboda definition is that, but sweeter definition is mind is Amsha of the Lord. Mind is part of Samashti. You call it as Hiranyagarbha or Bhagwan's mind. So if individual body needs total food to nourish it, individual mind needs total mind to nourish it. Tuning himself with Bhagwan's mind, tuning himself with totality, that is as much important as nourishing the physical body. That's why the word comes Pushan, the one who nourishes the minds of devotees. He Pushan, Jagatah Poshanat Pusha Ravihi, Tatha Ekah Eva Rushati. Therefore, he is walking alone. Ekah Eva Rushati, Gachati iti Ekarshi. The one who goes alone, that is Sun God. Puja Guruji has a book, I think, right? Walk Alone. The title of that book is Walk Alone. Different facets about how to be independent. That is the Sun God, Ekarshe. Tatha Sarvasya Sayamanat Yamaha. The one who controls everybody through heat. If you literally see, through Bhagwan's Sun God's heat alone, this whole creation is running. Water cycle is controlled by that. Day and night is controlled by that. He says that is this Sayamanat Yamaha. Tatha Rashminam Prananam Rasanam. Rashmi means rays. Prana means sense organs over here. Different things which are brought in by sense organs, particularly eyes. Rasanam means rasa, taste. Swikaranat Surya, the one who accepts these three things, he is called as Surya. Whatever we saw before, you will see in Bhashya again, so it becomes easier. Who is Surya? The one who accepts these three things. Hey Surya, Prajapatehe Apatyam Prajapatya. Next name in mantra is Pushanne Karshi Yama Surya Prajapatya. Prajapatya means son of Prajapati is Prajapatya. Prajapatehe Apatyam Prajapatya. Hey Prajapatya, Vyuha Rashmin Swan, please withdraw your rays. Vyuha means withdraw. Samoha. Samoha means please gather them. Please gather all your rays. Eki Kuru, make them into one. Right now it is too blinding. Please make all the rays into one. Upasamharate tejaha. Please reduce and withdraw your brilliance. Tapakam jyotihi. Tapakam jyoti means that effulgence which is blinding me right now, please withdraw all of that. Okay, next part. Yatte tava rupam kalyanatamam atyanta shobhanam tatte tava atmanah prasadat pashyami kincha aham natutvam भृत्यवद्याचे यह असौ आदित्यमण्डलस्थः व्याहृति अवयवः पुरुषः पुरुषाकारत्वात् पूर्णं वा अनेन प्राणबुद्ध्यात्मना जगत्समस्तम् इति पुरुषः पुरीशयनाद्वा पुरुषः सोहमस्मि भवामि यत्ते तव रूपम कल्याणतमम. Bhagwan, that form of yours, which is very beautiful, peaceful. In whatever way we have understood Bhagwan, there this adjective should go and fit. What is the Rupa of my Bhagwan? This Rupa of Bhagwan is Kalyanatamam, the most auspicious one. Yasya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate. Just by remembering him, all the sorrows, all the bondage which is there, which is bothering that sadhaka right now, he says he is freed from all of that. That is this Kalyanatamam Rupam. If it is so auspicious, why don't you remember all the time? Bhagavan, just now I explained. Your Hiranyamaya Patra is so powerful, not easy to remove. Kalyanatamam atyanta shobhanam tatte tava atmanah prasadat pashyami. I am seeing this not only because of my effort, but because of your grace. Tava prasadat aham pashyami. By your grace, I am able to keep my mind in Bhagavan, in you. You know, this is a great blessing, you say, or solace to seekers. If you study Yoga Darshana, everything is responsibility of the student. Starting from Yama, Niyama. You say Asana nobody else can do, you only have to do. Pranayama also you have to do. Pratyahara also you have to do. Then after doing that, do Dharana, do Dhyanam, do Samadhi. But here devotee says, he is not saying I won't do anything. All those things I will do, but my abilities keep falling short in facing the storm of my vasanas. There he says, by your grace, may I come to see you. Tumari hi krupa, tumahi raghunandana, janata bhagata ura chandana. He says, only by your grace, a devotee comes to know you. Having known you, what do you become for that devotee? You become the sandalwood for their mind. Janahi bhagata ura chandana. If head is hurting, you can apply some ointment outside. If mind is agitated, nothing can be applied there. He says, what can be applied is the chandanam of devotion. Bhagata ura chandana, that which will keep my mind calm and peaceful. Then he says, Kincha aham natu tvam bhrutyavadyache. I am not doing this prayer as somebody who is begging from the Lord. Bhrutyavat means one who thinks Bhagwan is separate and is praying for something. He says, I have understood you to be myself. Means you have come closer to me now, and whatever I have done in the past, all of that is giving me this faith and confidence that whatever I am asking, that will be given to me. You know, this is another thing. One Mahatma Ji would say, whenever we ask from God, more we have done our bhakti, and every day we have built that connection with Bhagwan. He say asking from God is effortless. You know, just like you have a friend whom you know very well, you don't hesitate to ask. And even when you ask, you don't ask with, this feeling that I am different, you are different. You'll ask with authority. It says like that, we have to develop the qualification to ask from God with authority. And then he would give an example. If there is some person sitting on the street and he's asking for money. Now, if he asks for some money, you might as well give. But let us say he starts asking for flight ticket. He says, I want to go somewhere. Can you buy me my flight ticket? He said, naturally, this person will not directly go and give. Why is it? Because bond has not been built. Just an example he would give. He would say, in the same way, when we go to Bhagavan, if bond is not built, then he will ask with hesitation. He will ask with some hesitation that I'm asking, but I don't know whether Bhagavan will give or not. But you see what this devotee says. He says, Kincha aham natutvam bhrutyavadyache. I'm not asking you in that way. Because I've understood you to be me and I am Satya Dharma. Previous verse, what did he say? Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye. From my side, I have done whatever I have done, whatever I had to do. Now I'm fully confident that you will bless me. Yaha asau aditya mandalastha vyahruti. Asau means that. What is that referring to? The consciousness which is expressing in the sun god. In the sun, the Chaitanya which is expressing. That is the first meaning, Aditya Mandalastha. Second meaning of that is Vyahruti. Vyahruti means different parts of Bhagavan. Vyahruti, direct meaning is parts. Just like when we chant Gayatri Mantra, how do we start it? Om Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha. So Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha, they are the parts of the Lord. That's why it is called as Vyahruti. When you chant Purusha Suktam, different parts of Bhagavan is elaborated. Different parts of the Lord is elaborated. So that becomes the Vyahruti of Purusha. Okay, so that Purusha I am seeing in myself. That is what he's saying here. Vyahruti avayavaha Purushaha. Avayav means parts. Vyahruti means parts. Purushaha. Purushakaratvat Purnam va. The one who is of the form of Purushaha. That is why he is called as Purusha. Means Virata Purusha over here. That Bhagavan who is Virata. Va anena prana buddhyatmana jagat samastam iti Purushaha. The one who pervades his entire creation as prana, as that life force. That is why he is called as Purusha. Bhagavan is just giving different meanings of the word Purusha. The one who has parts is called as Purusha. One who has different parts of this universe as his body. That is why he is called as Purusha. Or the one who pervades his entire Jagat. One who fills this entire Jagat. That is called as Purusha. He is called as Purusha. And then he says, Puri Shayanatva Purushaha. Shayanat means sleeps. Puri means in body. The one who sleeps in this body, that is Purushaha. One who abides or resides in this body is Purushaha. Puri Shayanatva. If you just look within, consciousness, how does it appear? Awake or sleeping? That is why I use that word Shayanat. Shayanat means that. Even though there, it is as though not there. Puri Shayanatva, one who is abiding, residing in this body, only we have to pay attention to. But if you don't, then it is as though sleeping. Puri Shayanatva Purushaha Saha Aham Asmi. That Chaitanya, that Purusha, I am Bhavami. This is what is my firm conviction. Now we are almost coming to the end of Ishavasyopanishad. 2 more mantras are there. Last time we didn't get a chance to do questions. So I'll pause a few minutes early today. If you have any questions, we can do that. Now you might be wondering, what are we planning to do after this Ishavasyopanishad? Do we have presentations or something else? What I found is when you assign speakers, the preparation happens only for speakers. It doesn't happen for everybody. All said and done, no matter how much you say, everybody should prepare, it doesn't happen. And the point is not to stress you out, that you have an exam coming or some test coming. The whole point is when we go back to Ishavasya, whenever we go back and read the mantras, at least the direct meaning of the words should be clear to us. If you understood the elaboration, it's a bonus. If you understood Bhashya, double bonus. But the main thing which is needed is the mantra meaning should become clear to us. That's the whole purpose of study. So what we are going to do is 9th verse through 18th verse. We'll have open book review. Okay. Anybody will be called. But only thing you have to do is just look at what is the direct meaning of the verse. Every word meaning should be there. And 2 key points in that mantra. I'm sure all of you have taken a lot of notes. 2 key points. Simple, right? Just the direct meaning of the verse and 2 key points. But again, remember, the purpose is not to emphasize on what we know or what we don't know. Purpose is to collectively reflect and then come to understand the simple meaning of that mantra. If you have questions, you can ask during that session. If you don't ask, I will ask regarding those mantras. Until 8, we have recapped before. So 9th onwards, we will do it. Now, what is the next text? This morning session, it's good that we get 2 classes, Tuesday and Thursday, so we can maintain good pace. So I was just seeing around 32 classes we have done with Ishavasya. Around 4 weeks or 4 months. 4 months we took to complete this text. So we'll keep this as Upanishad track, Tuesday and Thursday mornings. The next Upanishad we are going to study is Mundakopanishad. Not right away, It's still 3-4 classes ahead. I'm just saying so that you can get all the books. They've already come. Puja Gurudev's commentary is what we'll be referring to. And when we are seeing the mantra, we'll refer to the Bhashya part. So our Kapil Ji has kindly got Bhashya also from India during his visit. So those have also arrived. But to go from one Upanishad to another Upanishad, it's good to have some non-Bhashya text in between, a small text, so that it gives us some time to catch up if you're not caught up with few things from Ishavasya. And also for entering into Mundaka, it's good to have a short change in text in between. So we'll study Dhanyashtakam. After this, it's a short composition. Ashtakam means only 8 verses. And Thanksgiving is coming. So Shankaracharya, we should ask, what is the true meaning of being blessed? Dhanya Ashtakam. According to Bhagavan Shankaracharya Ji, he says, these are the things, if one has, that person is blessed. Very nice text for sadhana. At the same time, a lot of different nuances are pointed out regarding Siddhanta also. Okay, so right after Ishavasya, we'll do Dhanyashtakam. After Dhanyashtakam, we'll do Mundakopanishad. But before Dhanyashtakam, we have this review. Okay, but I hope that day all of you will come. And we'll not have any recording or anything. Okay, it will be an informal class, just like how we are sitting, and how you would talk when you meet. Just look at the verse look at the word by word meaning, and then share 2 key points on that. And don't assume, if you've already spoken, you won't be called again. Randomly, anybody will be called. Okay. And this is again very high level review. Don't get overwhelmed. 9 verses. And we still have around 2-3 classes to go. Okay. So you have time. 9 verses. So we'll conclude here and then take a few questions. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.